from the Rajasthan Royals team. They were the favourites.
It's the Chargers who will lift the trophy. They've come from number 8 to number 1.
Chennai Super Kings are champions of the DLF IPL 2010.
DLF IPL champions 2011, the Chennai Super Kings.
DLF IPL will move from Chennai and go up to Kolkata.
It's Mumbai Indians that managed to win their first IPL, 6th edition. And Mumbai Indians have finally won the title that has been escaping. Kolkata Knight Riders are the champions of Pepsi IPL 2014.
Men in blue, the Mumbai Indians, they win by 41 runs and are champions of IPL 2015. Warner and his Orange Army are first-time winners of Vivo IPL. They are champions in 2016.
Champions 2017, 3 times as skipper for Rohit Sharma.
How fantastic is each of those moments? 10 years, 5 different champions. One thing common between all these champion sides is that either they managed to pick the best players available or the picks that they chose turned out to be the top players in the tournament. And it can't be easy when you have a plethora of quality players available to you and to bring them together for the first time as a team. Vivo IPL is the best T20 league in the world, and that's why everybody wants to be a part of it. Playing the IPL is tough. Well, getting into the IPL is even tougher. Ask me, I know it. And that's why we call the Vivo IPL not just T20 2020, we call it the toughest 20.
Darren Sammy may have won the World T20 twice, the last one less than 2 years back. But in Vivo IPL, he's had to make do with stints as a commentator. Martin Guptill may be one of the top openers in the world, but he had to wait 7 long years to walk out to bat in Vivo IPL. Faf du Plessis may be the backbone of the South African batting lineup, but barely got to play for Pune, despite being one of their first picks. Reputations and records count for very little in Vivo IPL. And in a tournament that brings together the world's very best, getting picked and then getting to play is a privilege reserved for the chosen few. Just ask the players whose IPL careers have been shorter than their international ones, who stroll into their national sides but struggle to make it to an IPL team, who are considered best in the world but not good enough to get an IPL contract. With team owners having played there firsthand, the battle to get in has got tougher. And now for the world's best, the Vivo IPL auction is the only route in. Who's good enough to make the cut? We'll find out soon enough.
Today on Game Plan, we'll start identifying 10 foreign players who are likely to set the world on fire in Vivo IPL 2018. Why 10? Because we want to make it as tough for us, the experts, as it is for the teams with regards to picking the players. Well, a lot of great players will be left out of this list, but then a lot of great players are left out of the IPL as well. And for to make it easy for me and to decide, I've got my 2 friends from across the sea. I've got Dean Jones from Australia and his best buddy from New Zealand, Scott Styris. Welcome, guys.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Aka.
So the 3 of us have deliberated and have done our homework. We've got a list of 15 overseas marquee players. Let's run through them and then we'll try and find a consensus. You've got Chris Lynn, Evan Lewis, Chris Gale, Quinton de Kock, David Miller, Killer Miller. Let's move to the next 5. And you'll find some more influential names there who are likely to set the world on fire. You've got Karen Pollard, Colin Munro, Brent Stokes, Dwayne Bravo and Josh Butler. And the last set of 5 players will feature Rashid Khan, Pat Cummins, you've got Andrew Tye, Mitchell McClenaghan and Mustafizur Rahman. Well, we have split it into three categories, wherein the first is a definite pick, and we've got as many as 6 players, where all three have agreed on, and I'm sure it'll be on everybody's list come the 27th and the 28th, the auction day. Quinton de Kock, Jos Buttler, Rashid Khan, the three really influential marquee cricketers who may obviously have a huge impact on the IPL this season. And then Ben Stokes, Dwayne Bravo, Chris Lynn. So these are the 6 guys. Let me head to you first, Dino. Quinton de Kock, why have you picked him? What is it that makes him a special player?
Well, he's fantastic with the gloves and he's fantastic with the bat. I think he knows how to play spin very well in the first 6 overs. His record for Delhi has been outstanding over the years. And the fact that you can get a player to do 2 jobs and do them beautifully, I think he's just I think without doubt, an easy pick for everyone.
Oh, well, Quinton de Kock is in my team as well. An explosive opener can take the game away, and that's the kind of impact player that we want in the side. Let me head to Scott Styris now and talk about, say, Dwayne Bravo, for example. Somebody, again, gets 2 different disciplines to the table. He is a valuable asset, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And, you know, I've got my own categories and criteria, and there's really only 3 of them. And one is I want explosive players near the top of the order. 2, I want all-rounders who are match winners, who can genuinely do both bat and ball, not just roll their arm over or bat a little bit. I want genuine match winners. And then thirdly, I want pace bowlers who bang it in and bowl with bounce. I expect Chennai may well look to use their right to match on him, but I expect all the teams to know that and try and bid him up as a result of that.
I'll be very surprised if Chennai Super Kings won't use the right to match card to acquire his services again. Well, that's Dwayne Bravo. Let's talk about Ben Stokes, since we're talking about the all-rounders.
He's probably almost one of the hottest properties in the world of cricket at the moment. The biggest problem for him is he's not playing that much cricket of late because of other things that's happened in England of late. But momentum changer, as Scotty said, he can bowl serious pace. I know he's got a scar of what happened in the T20 World Cup. He needs to improve his defensive lengths a little bit more with the ball, but with the bat, he's just ferocious.
That's what I also feel, that Ben Stokes is a very precious commodity. But then talk about Jos Buttler, somebody who can really bat up the order, can also bat down the order if need be, and he's got this innovative strokes, the impact play that you talk about, Scotty. Jos Buttler, a runaway hit in T20?
Yeah, he is, and you know, he's another one. He's almost the exact description that Dino gave for Quinton de Kock. I think Jos Buttler, everything applies to him as well. He can open the batting. He's done that for Mumbai. He's doing it currently in the Big Bash and doing it well for the Sydney Thunder. He can take the gloves. I know last year he did it with Pati Patel from memory, taking the gloves from Mumbai, so he can run around in the field as well. He's not just a wicketkeeper and that is it, but he's the same. He can do 2 jobs, so he's an all-rounder. He can allow you to add that extra bowler or leave extra batsman through the middle order. Huge fan of Jos Buttler. He just wins too many games, and that's, you know, what I'm after. I'm after those match winners, and he is certainly one of those.
And when we talk about the IPL, the Vivo IPL, L stands for the leggies and not for the league, Dino. Your favorite, Rashid Khan, you thought that he should have been retained, but that's not been the case. You would expect Sunrisers Hyderabad to go really hard at him and get him in their side using the right to match card?
Yeah, I definitely will be. I think he's just sensational. I know, for example, Tom Moody is starting to talk about the fact that he doesn't not care too much about the power plays, but he's more worried about what happens between the 7th and the 16th over, and that's when he comes in to bowl. He probably bowls 1 in the first 10 overs and then bowls 3 after it. That's where Boovie gets the odd wicket or 2 in the front and then bowls beautifully at the death. He fits the Sunrisers beautifully.
Let's move quickly to a striker, Chris Lynn, who made everyone sit up and take notice, Scotty. He is a guy who will attract a lot of franchise, and KKR cannot use the right to match card. They've already acquired 2 overseas guys in their retention. So they've got Russell, they've got Narayan, but no Chris Lynn. He'll be going somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Chris Lynn. I'm a former teammate of his in one of the T20 leagues around the world. I know how destructive he is. You get to see it in the Big Bash once again. I have a few concerns, though, if I'm brutally honest, and that is simply the injury toll that his body has taken over the last 3 or 4 seasons. He is someone who is going to go for big money. I have no doubt about it. there is speculation that he is a little suspect against spin bowling. So if you are one of the owners of these franchises and you have a Bangalore, which is traditionally a great batting wicket, or a Mumbai, then I can understand why you would want Chris Lynn and you'd want to bid a lot for him. I would temper my interest just a touch, solely because of my worries against spin bowling and solely because I'm really worried about the shoulder injuries that he keeps having, because I can't afford to spend a lot of money on one of these overseas players to then have him sitting out a lot of games.
Well, this debate is getting interesting by every passing sentence, but then there's more to it on the other side of this break. Moving on now. See, we started with the list of 15. We pruned it down to 10. And 6 have been done with. That were the definite picks. And now the probable picks. And what does that mean? Basically, 2 of us have agreed on a name. And there was an odd one out, like Colin Munro. Scotty and I agree with him. But then Andrew Tye and Evan Lewis. Scotty is the odd one out. Let's start with Colin Munro and what he brings to the table before we start the debate.
Leg buys. Yeah, that's come from the meat of the bat. Last one was high on the bat. This one just where he wanted to be.
So you're trying to set up this run chase and just getting a nice tempo.
Well, Colin Munro, and since Scotty and I have agreed on this name, Dino is the odd one out. Let me go first to Scotty. And Scotty, have you picked him just because he's a Kiwi, or there is some other reason to it?
Of course I picked him just because he's a Kiwi. No, and look, in all seriousness, it's hard. You can't overlook Colin Munro. First and foremost, my criteria, he is a match winner. He is the world #1 currently, T20 batsman. On top of that, he's the only man in history with 3 T20 international hundreds. Okay, now when I'm looking at players and I'm looking at destructive players, I have 2 more sets of rules. The first one, you have to have scored runs in the IPL previously, or secondly, you have to have scored runs in India. He did that. The recent New Zealand tour of India, he got that brilliant 100 to win the match for New Zealand against India. That shows me he can perform in India under pressure in front of the crowds on the big stage. He is the no-brainer in my mind. He's right up there with the top guys that you can possibly get to open the batting.
No, I'm with you, Scotty, on this, so you don't have to convince me one bit. I personally feel that he's got a form on his side, and when we talk about T20 cricket, we also talk about the star power rating, wherein we've added one new dimension. That's the current form, and on that batting form is what, 99. That's phenomenal. And Dino, you know, this is one Kiwi that's surely going to fly in the auctions. So why is it not in your list? You're very pragmatic generally. What happened today?
Yeah, Scotty makes a good argument, but he is a Kiwi. And the second thing is that he has got some very good numbers. But you know what? You ask any bowler in the world right now, you ask him, do they want to bowl to an Evan Lewis or they want to bowl to a Colin Munro? And I'll tell you right now, 9 out of 10 will say Munro. But I'm not downplaying him. He's been outstanding. He's almost good enough to be Australian, but he's not on my list.
No, but Dino, it's not between Evan Lewis and Colin Munro. My point is that why can't you have Colin Munro in your side? In fact, we'll get to Evan Lewis, and both of us have actually picked him, and Scotty hasn't. So why not Colin Munro?
Look, you can change me. You can keep talking to me. That's fine. Look, he's an outstanding player. There's no doubt
Okay,
about
that's
that.
it then.
But I've decided not to go with him.
Okay, that's it. He's already said. Scotty, we don't even need an argument. He said that he is an outstanding player, period. So as far as I'm concerned, Dino, you're convinced.
Yeah, just cut it off right there. Done.
Let's move ahead. Let's move to the guy that Dino and I agree on and Scotty doesn't. Evan Lewis, the man, packs a punch.
That's in the air, and it's a clear draw goal. Number 3 of the over. Number 5. 5 sixes in the over. Takes the one, and that's an excellent 100.
We talk about Evan Lewis, someone who's got a proven track record now. Even if we were to look at his numbers in star power rating, you'll find that he's right up there with the best. Overall ranking, number 6 rather in the world. And when we talk about the overall ranking, we take care of, or rather take into account the batting form, the adaptability, the consistency, hitting power standard, win contribution, you name it, we have it. Everything is being taken account. And therefore, Evan Lewis is in my side. He's also in Dean Jones' side. Dino, good pick. But what about Scotty?
Yeah, look, let me be up front here. I'm a fan of Evan Lewis. I think the talent is there. He's already got that brilliant 100 against India. I've just heard a couple of dodgy things, and I say that loosely. I want to pick on character as well, and it's difficult to judge someone on rumours when I don't know him. I've never met him, so I think it would be the wrong way to go. But he's just left, from what we hear here in New Zealand, the West Indian tour, to go home and help his girlfriend move house. Now, I don't know anyone who's going to turn down playing international cricket to move house for his girlfriend. That says to me that I'm a little worried that if things aren't quite going right, then I am not sure he's the man I necessarily want on my side. So as I say, I'm a big fan. I just prefer other options. And look, I'm prepared to bet Dean Jones. Here we go. He says that Munro would be an easier guy to bowl to. I'm prepared to have a wee bet with Dean Jones, a chicken korma when we get over there for the IPL, that Munro goes for more in the auction than Evan Lewis.
But it's not about who goes for how many in the auctions anyway. I think Evan Lewis, Dino, come on, seriously. You talk about a guy who is a match winner, a proven match winner. And what else do you want in an IPL game? That's exactly what you want, and he gives you that.
Scotty Storris. I'm moving house. Evan Lewis is coming over my place and helping me move my place too. Wonderful fella. Got no problems with him at all. He plays well in the Bangladesh. He averages 146 strike rate. He played in Caribbean Premier League where, be honest, where the wickets are absolutely awful on most occasions. His numbers are outstanding. This boy will frighten the living daylights out of them. You might talk about character. Let's talk about character. Let's talk about how New Zealand started complaining about underarm bowling. Let's talk about all that stuff. Let's talk about the
world number 1, Dino.
Absolutely. Don't go down the character route.
We're in front of Australia.
Don't go down there.
Australia and Test cricket. We're in front of Australia in T20 cricket. We're above you in all the rankings. It's jealousy, isn't it, my friend? It's jealousy.
Not really, because I've looked at your trophy cabinet and you haven't won anything, New Zealand, so don't even start. So let's go on.
We've got the Chapel Hadley between Australia and New Zealand.
He's in my side, he's in Dino's side. Scotty, you got to come this side because I came actually to you for the Munro bit. He is there. Evan Lewis is there. Agree, disagree? Give me a thumbs up.
Look, I agree. I love Evan Lewis. I just think there are other guys who will go in front.
That's it. So we've got 2 now. So Colin Munro has moved into the definite list, and so has Evan Lewis. So we've got 8 now. So there'll be some more debate. And let's move to Andrew Tye, the man who's done well, who's taken a hat-trick in the IPL last time around, played for the Gujarat Lions, a very weak side. He was one of the lone shining stars, and let's see what he brings to the table.
The West Australian Andrew Tye, and Gonski, just like that, he bowls a peach first up, doesn't get any better to knock over one of the big guns in this form of the game. Hello, Haas.
Hello, Danny and everyone. That's a big wicket. Great start from AJ Tye.
And hello, he's on a hat-trick. He's already taken one this year. This is simply sensational. How about this, Gilly?
Well, talking about Andrew Tye and T20 cricket, he's taken three hat-tricks in T20 cricket in 2017. One of them came for Gujarat Lions and took 5 wickets in that game. Star power ranking, if we were to talk about, overall T20 ranking is number 11. 11, keep that in mind, guys. And 80 is what he scores, which basically means his run saving standard, his win contribution. He's been there, right up there. And Dino?
I'm surprised with that ranking of 11. I'd have him almost in my top 10 for me. He actually took 4 hat-tricks last year. He took a double hat-trick in his club team in October as well. He's up there as leading the BBL wickets. I've watched nearly every game he's played in the BBL. Mind you, I know Scottish Stars will come in and say, well, it's not the greatest competition in the world and has been a bit down in form this year. But Andrew Tye has been phenomenal. He's not scared to bowl to the big bangers who can try to launch. He knows exactly where to bowl. He wins games. He is phenomenal.
So basically, I think, Scotty, you don't even have an argument here. Let's be very honest about it. We know that he is one of the best that the world has currently in T20 format. Dean Jones has spoken about his variations and things that he has up his sleeves. Is there anything that you don't like about him except being an Australian? Any cricketing logic to your argument?
There's a little bit of cricket logic to my argument. I think, look, let me be clear here. I think Andrew Tye is a good bowler. I think he's going to be picked up. I have no doubt about that. I think, though, the stats show that bounce bowlers do well.
This is what he's done in Vivo IPL 2017. 6 matches, 12 wickets. Economy is 6.71. And why we are debating, it's important for us to just set this right. Dino, just give me a moment. 8 people have already been picked and we are supposed to pick only 10. He could be the 9th guy moving into that definite list. As far as me and Dino are concerned, it's done. There's no debate. Scotty, do you have anything else?
I have no problem with him being in the top 10 right now. I've got other bowlers which you'll see later. They will swap in. Look, it's just going to be a stats barrow.
No, Dino, let's laugh.
Oh, look,
I mean,
he has got no idea. Honestly, he's got no idea. You got the numbers don't lie. Because he doesn't bowl 140 kilometres an hour, it doesn't mean that he can't bowl at this form of the game. Trust me, at the end of this IPL 2018, he'll be the top 3 wicket takers. Mark my words.
We were given a task and we've accomplished it as well, at least somewhat. We've pruned the list from 15 to 9. Definite picks, of course, there were 6. In fact, the probables have also moved to the definite picks. The only one spot left up for grabs. That will be our next segment, which will be in our next episode. Agree to disagree on the next episode of Game Plan. Keep watching Star Sports.